What's going on, my PT peeps? I'm Walking Dead family of my fighters. I'm One Eye Bry, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 24, the last episode of the series. Give a review, a breakdown, discussion. So obviously, spoiler warning, major spoiler warning for the series finale of The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 24. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. It was decent. It could have been better. It could have been far worse, but it was definitely decent. So rest in peace, AMC Plus, the big premiere. As I'm making the video now, they're talking about the Talking Dead special. So who will survive? Basically everybody, except for 3 people. We lost 3 people in the episode. Rosita was the big death, Luke, and Jules. Everybody else very much alive. So it picks up where 11:23 left off. Judith is in danger. They go into the hospital place there, and there's nobody there. The Commonwealth troopers beat up Daryl, give him a nasty black eye, and Judith lives. We knew she was going to live, right? It doesn't make sense to kill her off. And overall, it was a lot of callbacks with little things here and there in the hospital. And Daryl's knocked out, but Judith somehow gets up, is able to close the door, lock the door, well, barricade the door. She tries to lock it, but she's doing pretty well for being shot, I have to say. And the walkers banging on the door trying to get in. It was definitely callbacks to season 1, and then Daryl and Judith pass out on the floor. And then the opening credits sounded a little different. They were a symphony and orchestra, and then we're back to the action. So we see our group taking out the walkers, and it was a nice sequence of scene, but it was basically like season 10, but they didn't have the Whisperer skin masks and, trying to sneak through the walkers. They were just taking out the walkers left and right. And basically was the big spot for Luke and Jules to be taken out. And I don't know, it was kind of like, it was a little too easy for that to happen. And I thought there would be more deaths overall, but Luke getting bit on the leg and Jules getting devoured just felt a lot like season 10, episode 16, which I guess was the callback, or just easy writing, just easy to do. Oh, we did it before Oceanside, or we'll take people out. But we know that Connie's not messing around. She takes out some walkers, and the variants were there, but they weren't there. And, it was definitely something that we kind of thought would happen from the spoilers, the potential spoilers that came to be true. I mean, not all of them. Some of them were pretty crazy. And I did feel bad for Magna's group, but it just kind of felt cheesy to lose Luke. He was gone for so long, and then he came back just to die pretty quickly. I mean, I don't know what they were doing here. And we still don't know where Virgil is. We still don't know where some characters are. But they barricade the doors in the hospital, and then they're forced to leave, and they're wheeling Judith around, and they eventually leave the hospital to get to a place of safety, and didn't really feel like anybody was in danger really the entire time after the 2 deaths. But then we get to Mercer, and he's locked in the cell, and I guess nobody's watching him. Nobody really cares after that. But Princess saves the day, blows the door, they get in there, and it's a nice them working together. And it's pretty cool at the end when Mercer was the second person in charge, because it's Mercer and Ezekiel running the Commonwealth, and Princess and Mercer are working together and still together, and she's cheering them along, and it's pretty cute, and they're a good couple, that's for sure. So the Maggie Negan stuff had to be set up for the next show of theirs. Still don't know why they're going to go together and work together, but Maggie's not messing around. Even though she doesn't shoot Pamela, she shoots Walker Lance. It's a good sequence when Rosita saves baby Coco, and we'll talk about Rosita, that's for sure. But it's just a pretty cool sequence of them, how fast she runs in to save the day. And I felt like they focused on like certain characters. There was a lot of characters there, but it was a lot of focus on Rosita and Eugene, which is good. Eugene really does a great job blending in with Rosita, Father Gabriel and Rosita. It was very sad when they wanted to hide it from everybody that Rosita was bit, but more on that later. Carol being Carol. So Carol ends up taking over Lance's job, which makes sense because basically she was there learning what Lance did, and Carol is not messing around. And they do mention that she was supposed to go with Daryl, even though she doesn't. The variant cohort walkers were kind of there, but they didn't really do much with it after the stuff. Like the knife thing never happened. Like I don't really know why there was a big buildup in the previous episodes, and they're just causing a problem in the Commonwealth, but they go back to season 1, and it just feels rushed. These last couple episodes feel rushed, and they probably were, because they were probably going to end in season 12. 8 more episodes really would have done the trick, but overall it still worked. It was a pretty good episode, I have to say. Now the whole thing with the babies, I don't know who the other baby was. You saw baby Coco, and I don't know who the other baby was that they saved, but the whole thing was them climbing up the pipe was pretty unrealistic, I have to say. Even though it's fictional, I know, but they're just climbing up the pipe like Spider-Man, and Rosita falls into the walkers, and she gets up and starts mowing them down, and then she's able to get up into the window. And it's very much the comic Andrea death for the show, but we all know how that goes. The show is the show, and the comic is the comic. And it came true. We were wondering if it was going to be true about Rosita. Was she going to die? Because when they were filming this stuff, it just happened, and it was one of those things where we weren't sure, but it happened. The whole thing with Negan and Maggie was a little forced. You know, they were like, Negan is going to do it, and he apologizes, and it's a thing, and then they're going to save the people, and they eventually save the day, like they do. We knew it was going to happen, but, you know, them working together and what to do, and we got to come here, and we got to go there, and, you know, it's an hour and a half. I don't know how long the actual episode runtime was, like 61 minutes or 62 minutes probably, but there's a lot of people left in the story. There's still a lot of story left. It doesn't feel like a true ending. It feels like there's still much on the table for the Walking Dead universe, but remains to be seen. The people are in danger here, and our group saves them. Pamela Milton is captured and thrown in jail, and then we don't know what happens to her. She's not sentenced till we see a year later, so we don't know what happens there. Maggie doesn't take the shot on Pamela Milton, but kills Walker Lance. We kind of figured it was going to be something with Pamela Milton and Lance, and, you know, everybody coming together to go against Pamela Milton. They blow up the estate, they blow up her house, they blow up all the rich people's homes, right? And if it's such a big community, why did they just go somewhere else? You know, it's such a big place, they could have hid somewhere, but for the story's sake, all these walkers are coming right here. They play an awesome song, and they just work together. There's a little scary part where they're going to take out Father Gabriel, but they don't. You know, Mercer, his troops, all the other Commonwealth troops stick together to save the people of the Commonwealth, and it just makes sense. Daryl gives a speech, and, you know, the Walking Dead universe is like, Daryl has spoken. That's it. Move along. Like I said, Maggie takes out Walker Lance. That's what she uses this badass rifle for. She fires one shot with it, but... You know, and they're working together. They're putting barrels all over the place with the fuel. And it's pretty cool to see everybody working together. And it was just something that is the callback, I guess, to when they blew stuff up for Terminus, I guess is what it was. And like I said, no one else died besides Rosita, Luke, and Jules. Aaron was safe. Magna's group was safe. Tommy, Jerry, everybody makes it out alive, which is good and bad. You know, I don't want characters to die just to die for no reason, but this is The Walking Dead. It kind of is what it is. But again, like I said, they used the barrels, the dynamite that I guess was in the box. It happens very fast. They focused on it, and then they're like, show a box, and I guess it's the one with the dynamite. Then we see the talk with Maggie and Negan. And it had to happen because, you know, the show. But Negan just walks towards the woods, I guess. Doesn't say bye to anybody. And Maggie says she can't forgive him because she talks about Glenn. And good for her. She doesn't have to forgive him. You know, they have to work together, but they don't. But we don't know what happens with Annie. We don't know what happens with anybody else, but Negan walks away. Rosita is seen at the dinner table, and it's sad. And you're reminded of her with Eugene and Abraham showing up. And Eugene really makes the scenes. Rosita does too. But it's very much the comic Andrea story. Comic Andrea dies in a similar way, saving the day, not for baby Coco, but similar in just how she's bit. And she goes back to Alexandria, and some time has passed, and she turns into a walker. You know, they didn't show it on the show. But like I said, Ezekiel and Mercer are running the Commonwealth, which makes sense. Maggie is running Hilltop. And I guess Father Gabriel is running Alexandria. It kind of happened so quickly. And then there's RJ and Judith looking on at the Commonwealth with the big windmill. And then we see Michonne and Rick. And they're not reunited yet. Michonne is on horseback. Rick is rocking a CRM jacket. Helicopter comes down. And there's some more scenes than I thought. I didn't think they would show much at all. I thought there would be a post-credit scene that would be at the end, but there's really not a post-credit scene. It just is in between, like the ending. So Rick is technically in the episode, and so is Michonne. But they're setting up the future of it, and it looks kind of cool. You know, Michonne's outfit, they kind of have etchings on the phones. Hopefully stuff's explained and it makes sense. But overall, it's pretty cool, and I'm excited for it. This is my quick review of it. I'll have much more video with the photos and stuff. I'll get some stuff together and make another video or a bunch of more videos, that's for sure. But overall, the episode was good. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was like disappointing like I thought it could be. You know, my expectations were low. It worked. You know, it felt rushed the last couple episodes, but it is what it is. It's an ending. Is it a satisfying ending? It's similar to the comic in a lot of aspects. The Commonwealth falls and our group has different roles, and it's pretty cool. We got to see more Rick than I thought, more Michonne than I thought, and I love those characters, so I'll take it, that's for sure. We could see the thank you to the fans. I believe Daryl was in France, and you could see the different outfits that people were wearing when they were filming. So 2023 should be a big year, but let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. I know it's sad, guys, that The Walking Dead is over, but 2023, we still got Fear the Walking Dead, Dead City, hopefully the Daryl show, and the Rick and Michonne show too. And after that, who knows? Enough characters are still very much alive so they could pop up in different shows, and I hope they do. Thank you guys for the support. We truly appreciate it. Stay safe, and as always, tell them Daryl.
Yo, we love you guys.